There are periods of life that are more complicated than others. Moments during which you wonder how you got there. Moments when you feel empty inside. You think that there is always that little thing you are missing to finally be happy. You ask yourself existential questions. What do I want to do in my life? What do I want to accomplish? Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk about something a little bit more personal here, my quarter life crisis. If you're new here, my name is Anna, and in my videos I talk about minimalism, slow living, personal development and personal finance. But yeah, today I wanted to talk about, I think, the starting point of my videos and why I want to talk about minimalism and this kind of things, and it's my quarter life crisis. I'm not embarrassed to talk about this here because when I realized I was going through a quarter life crisis, I was so alone that I really wanted to talk about this to my family, my friends, even my coworkers, to know if they relate to this, and so that they understood what I was going through and what I was feeling at that time. And today I want to talk to you about this. I think it's the right time to talk to you about this, so that you don't feel alone if you are going through the same thing. But you know, most of the time we minimize how we feel and what we feel, and because of that we don't dare to talk about it. So how did it start? I think that everything happened during my college years, and especially during my first years of pharmacy study. I really didn't like my studies, but you know, I took a test and I got it, and it was long hours of studies. I put my life away for the studies, and because I didn't know at that time what I wanted to do with my life, I continued. I was like, okay, so I don't know what I want to do with my life. I don't have a perspective, so I will continue and we will see. So I told myself that it was okay, because year after year we specialized in a field, and at that time I decided to specialize in marketing, so in health marketing. If I could do marketing in a big pharmaceutical company, I could do marketing everywhere. So I was really excited when I had my internship in a big pharmaceutical company, because I will do something other than science. It's what we feel in this moment. We have been told that we need to do big studies to have a big salary and to have a really cool career and to have everything that we want. I'm not telling you that I'm not proud of what I did during the studies, and I'm really glad I did these studies, because I have a job right now that allows me to only work like 3 hours a day with a really decent salary. But you know, time flies and you don't really have time to think about yourself, to think about what you really want in your life. So you continue to work and you continue to survive. It lasted a year after the end of my studies. I kept the same position in the pharmaceutical company, but with bigger responsibilities and a bigger salary. But then on Saturday, I just couldn't get up. I just couldn't. At that time, I knew that I couldn't live my life like this. That's something has need to change. I didn't know what really happened to me, so I managed to go to work. It was really hard, and after my day I came back home and it was like a refuge. I watched old TV shows every evening, and even cooking pasta was was unbearable. However, my life was going pretty well. I had a job. Even if I didn't like it, I had a salary, so I was able to travel, I was able to buy things I loved. My family was well and around me. My relationship with my boyfriend was great, so I had everything to be happy, but I was at my worst. I persuaded myself that I really needed to travel, to have holidays, because it was a lack of rest, it was a lack of thinking, and I had some holidays that was planned at this time, so I tried to live my life the best I can until this time. And a month before this vacation, this holidays, I told myself that I would finally have time to think about myself and to do some personal development. So how did I realize I was going through a quarter life crisis? So I think that 2 weeks before my holidays, I searched for blogs, videos and books to read during my holidays, and I found out the book that changed my life. This book is 20 something, 20 everything. I will put the link in the description box below. I think that it's this book that saved my life. It's exactly what I needed at the right time. It was like, oh my god, really needed it. So yeah, I think that without this book, I don't know if I would start a YouTube channel. I don't know if I would quit my job. I don't know if I would be here in my life right now. This book changed my life forever, period. It helped me to understand what I was feeling. It helped me to not feel alone with all the testimonials, and the author explains what is the quarter life crisis and how to make a move, how to take actions to move in your life during this time. At the beginning, in the introduction, the author asks us to answer by yes or no 10 affirmations. If you have more than 5 yeses, you're going through a quarter life crisis, or every crisis you can have in your life, but more specifically a quarter life crisis. And at that time, when I answered this question, these affirmations, I had like 9 or 10 yeses. So I have the 10 affirmations right here, so I will read them to you and give me your answer, so the number of yeses you have for this affirmation in the comments below. So, do you feel a need to have it all? Do you feel older for the first time in your life? Do you feel pressure to grow up and get your adult life in order? Do you often feel depressed, overwhelmed, lost, and maybe even a little hopeless? Do you ever feel that time is running out when you try to figure out your career and decide whether you want to get married and or have children? Are you stressed out by choices that seemingly will affect the rest of your life? Do you feel that you have failed because you don't know what you want to do with your life? Do you overanalyze yourself and your decisions? Do you ever feel guilty for complaining about your life when you've lived only about a quarter of it? Are you embarrassed that you have not figured out or accomplished more? Actually, it's not like an affirmation that you tell yourself every single morning, but it's like, okay, it's exactly what I feel right now. It's like for the first time I was like, okay, so my life is behind. Actually, she talked to women in this book. We feel the social pressure to get married, to have children, and to have your career, to have this kind of things, and you're like, okay, so it's really not what I want right now. On one end, you feel you are too young and you'll not have enough experience to have these things like to have children, to get married, and on the other hand you're like, okay, so my life is behind. For the first time, when you're lost and when you know, in this crisis, most of the time you don't know how to deal with all these feelings, and you don't understand yourself, and it's the first time that, oh my god, it's exactly what I'm feeling right now. It's like you understand yourself, and it's so powerful. And I experienced the same when I heard for the first time of my life the word introvert. I was like, oh my god, I'm not alone. So this book really helped me to ask myself the right questions and stop telling myself that I was crazy. I saw a future in which I was the main character. So here's what I felt during these times, and maybe the signs that you are feeling right now. So the first one, you're questioning your entire life. You overanalyzed every aspect of your life. Suddenly you want to know who you are, what you really want for your life, and what you have to do to be happier. And what is the meaning of life? So you ask yourself this question: is this person is good for me? Is this job worth all the hours it's taking me? Would live abroad make me happier? Actually, it's exhausting because you're questioning yourself about a lot of things all day long, and making decisions becomes impossible. You have too many options and you can't decide. On one end, you want to quit your job and raise penguins abroad, and on the other end you want to have a beautiful career in a big corporate company, and you also think about a suburb house to raise your kids. In short, you don't know what you want. Your life doesn't change during this questioning, and you're frustrated. You feel stuck in a job that you hate. Just after college, you applied for a job and it's really not what you think about when you do your studies. It's completely apart from what you learned in college. But you know what? You need to eat, you need to pay your bills, so you stay. You feel compelled to keep your job. You may have no idea what else you can do with your life. You don't apply for another job because you think that it will be the same there. In short, you feel stuck. Having a promotion isn't really exciting. If you feel stuck in a job, having a promotion is the least of your worries. Even if you're okay with your job, having more responsibilities, it's not what exciting you. You don't want to have the same responsibilities and the same life as your boss. When you think about a promotion, you realize that what you're doing is not really what makes you happy. You think that your best years are behind. You think that your life is already done. You're too old to do something with your life. You think about your high school and college years. You were carefree and you didn't have responsibilities. In short, it was a good time. Now you think it's too late to change your career or start something new. You have all that you want, but you're not happy. Have you ever felt that you have everything to be happy, like a family around you, a good relationship, a job that allows you to travel, to pay everything that you want, and you're really not happy? You may think that your life is not meaningful enough, that you're just watching it go by, and that is something missing from your happiness. You compare yourself easily to others who are successful. As you're questioning your entire life, you may have no self-confidence. So you're always comparing yourself to others who seem successful and who seem to have everything to be happy. And it's worse when you're scrolling on social media. You see all the perfect picture of beautiful bodies, of beautiful travel, or beautiful home, and you're like, it's not what I live right now, and my life sucks. And finally, you feel alone because you don't understand what you're going through, and everybody around you seem to be happy, seem to be fulfilled, and you think that nobody can understand your situation. I had exactly the same feeling when I was in this situation, because I didn't know what I was going through, so I thought that people wouldn't understand what I was going through, and it was really hard to explain to others. When I realized I was going through a quarter life crisis with this book, I started to talk about it to friends, to family, and I think that the most powerful conversation I had was with my best friend, and I asked her where she see herself 5 years. She just told me, not here. I was like, wow. So everyone that I know were going through something like that. She explained to me that the life she was living was not the life that she dreamt of. I need to tell you that you won't change your life in a day, even a month. You don't find success and you don't find happiness in your life in just a day or even a week. You will reach your goal, but it will be a succession of small actions that you take to reach them. For example, between the moment I realized that I had a problem with my job and the moment I quit my job, a year has passed. And it's completely okay. So we see a lot of people talking about their overnight success, but they don't tell that it was like a chain that they start a year ago. Because it's not really sexy to talk about it. But the good news is that this situation doesn't last eternally. So how did I get out of this? First of all, I did a life audit. If you want to know more about this, I made a whole video about the 8 categories, the 8 areas of your life that you need to check to change your life. I will put the link here, I think, yeah, here or there, of this video. And yeah, I did it for my own life, and I asked myself in which area I need to work on first to see the best impact. Is it my relationship with my boyfriend? Is it my job? Is it my finances? Secondly, I ask myself the right questions. So in the book you will find a lot of questions, but I selected like 10 questions that I think are the most important ones, and I put every question in a freebie with some space to answer, and I will put the link in the description box below. It's my self-discovery freebie, so you can download it and it's free. And yeah, these questions really helped me to what were my goals and where I wanted to go. These questions completely changed my life, and I think that it will change your life too. And then I took action. So I knew that with my life audit and with the questions, I really needed to focus on my finances, because if I wanted to quit my job, I needed to have an emergency fund, for example, the first thing first. And yeah, I really needed to focus on my finances, on my spending habits, to be comfortable to quit my job, because I knew that I wouldn't have an equal paid when I will apply for another job, so I needed to be secure about this. Then I quit my job, so a year later. After that, I started to declutter things in my life, and it was even people in my life that I knew weren't good for me. So yeah, I decluttered a lot, and you saw this in my channel. I was really interested in minimalism, in slow living, because I knew it was for me. I really needed to have some me time to think about myself. And yeah, I was so interested. I learned so much about this that I really wanted to share this knowledge and to share what I did in my life to help others to do the same. I really wanted to build a community in which we are able to share these things and to, yeah, you know, be with people who are like me. So between the moment I realized I was going through a quarter life crisis and the moment I started this channel, I think that 3 years has passed. And during this time I've evolved so much in my life. It's crazy. Like, for example, my limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs are really something that you need to work on when you want to change your life, when you're going through a quarter life crisis, because you're always telling yourself that I'm not worth enough to do this, don't have enough knowledge to start this. You really need to work on these things. And I'm working on an online course about this, about how to change your life and which aspect of your life you need to work on to move fast on things and to not be stuck in your life anymore. So I will tell you more about this later. So of course I always have moments in my life that I'm asking a lot of questions. Sometimes I feel like I don't have my dream life, but you know, I try to appreciate all the small moments in my life and to be present, because you know, it's what life is. You really need to be present, and you won't find happiness at the end of the road. At the end of the road, it's death. Okay, so you need to find happiness in every single moment of your life, and just thinking about it will change your life. Even if sometimes you feel like things are not moving fast enough, actually they are moving exactly how fast they should go. I had the same feeling, and when I see how far I've come in 3 years, it's crazy. Alright guys, it's the end. I hope this video will resonate with you and that you will find a solution if you're going through a quarter life crisis. If you want to talk about it privately, you can find me on Instagram. You can send me a DM. I will see you in the next one. Bye friends.